Today, you're going to get an insight into my digital design workflow. I'm going to be showing you how I use Adobe Photoshop to render my sleepwear set design with some beautiful Bimba Ilola modal fabric, and I'll be walking you through some critical design choices along the way, like why I decided to remove some piping details along the center front of my bodice. Trust me, it was a little bit of overkill. Once I'm happy with my final design, I'll be translating it into a technical illustration using Adobe Illustrator. This is going to help me make sure that every proportion, every construction, and every stitch detail is ready to be translated into a pattern, which will be the second video in this mini series. So make sure you stick around for part 2, but let's get started. Having scanned my hand-drawn artwork, I'm opening it up in Photoshop to transform this sketch into a polished professional design. First things first, I unlock the layer and bump up the contrast using levels. Just hit Command or Control L to make these lines really pop against the background. Next, I use the eyedropper tool to select the white areas, then crop the canvas so I'm focused solely on my sleepwear design. Now for the magic. I grab the Magic Wand tool to select my artwork, and then using Command A to select all and Command X to cut, hitting Q for quick mask mode, I paste my image in place. Invert the layer with Command I and fill it with black. This gives me super clean line art separated from the background and ready to work with in layers. With the line art established, I tidy up the edges with the eraser tool and add a background layer. This lets me sandwich in skin tones, fabric swatches, and color details, each on their own labeled layer. I'm using a Wacom Intuos Pro tablet for a little extra control, though an iPad is definitely on my Christmas wish list. For the Bimba Ilola deadstock modal fabric, I simply copy the textile image and paste it as its own layer. Keeping my line art on top means that I can erase the fabric into the exact shape of my garment. Now, there are loads of ways to do this, but inside the Atelier, we celebrate every maker's unique creative process, whether you prefer digital, pencil and paper, or collage. As I add the piping detail in a contrast color, I quickly realize that it's a bit much around the neckline and the front bodice, so I edit it down to just the scalloped hem, bust and waist ties, and the length of the front trouser legs. This is what I love about the design process. Each step informs the next, and you keep refining until your idea really sings. To finish, I use the burn tool for a bit of shading and dimension. I feel like it really makes my artwork pop, and it gives it that professional edge. And yes, I render my garments on a classic 9-head croquis for extra space to show detail, but if you did want something more realistic, I teach a 7-head proportional croquis inside the DPL Atelier. Your process really should be as individual as your style, and there is no one right way to create. This step is part of our Create, Cut, Contour, Construct framework that my premium members and I follow together. Right now, we're in Create Month, where we sharpen our fashion design skills before moving on to pattern drafting. And so whilst I'm developing my own unique creative process, I'm there to support my members uncover theirs too. To get my design truly pattern ready, I'm moving into Adobe Illustrator to create a technical flat. And just a quick reminder, if you don't have Illustrator, don't worry, you can absolutely hand draw a flat and get the same construction clarity. A technical flat, or CAD, is a precise scale drawing that maps out every construction detail. Think seams, darts, stitching lines, fastenings, pockets, you name it. While these are essential in the industry, I really do encourage home sewists and hobbyists to work technical flats into their own process. Why? Because they make you think about the engineering of your garment. For example, I had to plan how to finish the scalloped hem with piping, so I'll sandwich that in a facing, while the armholes in the facing will get bias bound. Technical flats also make it so much easier to adjust your pattern later. With everything proportionately accurate, you can see exactly where to add or remove volume or tweak design lines without second guessing or relying on an artistic sketch. Here, I'm using the pen tool with a center front ruler guide to build the shapes for my sleepwear top. Since the design is symmetrical, I just draw half. I then use the transform tool to reflect it into the other side. Super efficient. When I need to join anchor points, I use the direct selection tool, that's A on your keyboard. Select the points, right-click to join, then average them for a smooth finish. Over the years, I've built up my own file of detail, zips, ties, gathered sections. I can just drag and drop them into new designs, which saves loads of time. And if you're in the Atelier, you actually get access to my custom Illustrator brushes and in-depth tutorials for both Photoshop and Illustrator, no matter your membership tier. Traditionally, technical flats are kept black and white to focus on construction, so you'll see me adding facings with understitching to the inside of the top. But I do like to add a few stylized touches, like fabric creases, thicker outlines, and shadows. Purists might say that it's not proper, quote, quote, technical illustrations, but I believe that your visual communication should reflect your personal style. For me, these details help clarify my ideas, especially when I'm designing for my own wardrobe. And honestly, that's what counts. And that is my design process complete with my technical flat mapped out, ready to be translated into a pattern. I cannot wait to see this turn into the real thing. I'm also really excited to finally start sewing with my replenished fabric stash, which, as you know, I've been on a journey to tap into textiles that I actually want to sew with. However, I will be sampling this sleepwear set first, and I'll be using an old bed sheet to do so, so make sure you stick around. If you're excited to see how this design comes to life, you won't want to miss part 2. So next week, I'll take you along on my process as I turn the technical flat into a sewing pattern with my best tips for translating my basic bodice block into a more elaborate design. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you'll know when the next installment drops. And trust me, this transformation is going to be worth it. I'll see you in part 2.